Back on Morning Mover, shares of Boeing continuing to rebound after rallying 10% last week. Melius Research upgrading the stock to a buy from a hold with a $204 price target. The upgrade coming after Boeing won a contract for the Air Force's 6th Gen fighter program. The analyst says that the early days of new CEO Kelly Ortberg has shown he's the right leader to turn the company around. Time now for Options Corner. Joining us to take a deeper look at Boeing, we've got Tom White, senior options contributor and co-host of Fast Market. Tom, good to see you this Monday morning. So let's talk about the trends when it comes to Boeing. I wonder if they really are starting to turn the corner.
Yeah, it looks like it. Over the last couple of weeks, the stocks have spiked, but I kind of wanted to give you a more granular view here. This is a 3-year chart, 1 day of Boeing. You can see we're basically right above 181 this morning in the pre-market, up a couple percent on that upgrade, but we're basically flat over the last 3 years. But you can see over the last 3 years, we've had a lot of volatility, a lot of chop in this stock. But it's still pulled back pretty significantly from those 52-week highs. Remember, the all-time high was above $440 a share, and that was over 5 years ago. So it's still under pressure, right? They've still got a lot of headwinds. They need to work on delivering more planes. They need to build more planes more quickly, but they still have all the regulatory headwinds. But I got another chart that's shorter term that's going to show you the moves that we've seen recently in the stock. We got a 1-year, 1-day chart that I want to show you also. We'll get that up here. But it's basically said that, hey, over the last 2 weeks, Boeing's gone up 22% from those lows. You see right here, we got the 1-year, 1-day chart. And February 10th, we saw a golden cross. That's where the 50-day moving average, which is in blue, crossed over the 200-day moving average. So that's positive for the stock here. I mentioned that level of about $148 2 weeks ago. We've shot up to above $181. So as I mentioned, it's rallied over 22% from that bottom that we saw at the beginning of March 2 weeks ago. So take that into consideration. You look down here at RSI, starting to trend to the upside here. Still not overbought. We settled Friday about the 60 level. It'll probably open up if the stock opens up above 181. It's going to be closer to 65. So still not overbought. Anything on the relative strength index above 70 is considered overbought. So nice little spike back here. Their trends as far as delivery starting to improve a little bit. So that's a positive for the stock. But now we can talk about a trade if you'd like to after looking at these charts.
Yeah. Okay, so how does one think about an example trade for Boeing after this Melius Research call?
Well, if you take and heed that advice that you think the stock's going to move higher, I looked at the fact that they report earnings on the 23rd of April. I want to avoid that event because anything can happen. You have that event risk built into the stock. So avoiding that, I'm using the April 17th monthly options that expire in about 24 days. For this example, it's a bullish call vertical. Now, implied volatility levels, the IV percentile ranks only about the 30 level. So that's not very high. When you buy verticals such as this call vertical, it's going to be cheaper to buy when implied volatility levels are lower after we've seen that rebound in the stock. So going on to the April 17th, we're going to buy the 180 call. That's slightly in the money based on today's opening price, about 181. And then I'm going to sell the 195 call. So a bullish $15 wide call vertical. I'm going to roughly pay, if we open up right around 181.5, you're going to pay about $5.80 to $6 on that. That's going to be your risk on that trade, where you can profit over $900 if it goes up to 195. Now, if you pay $5.80 debit for this $15 wide call vertical, your break even is going to be $185.80 to the upside. That's only about 2% above the current share price in Boeing. So you don't need a big move to the upside. And then the 195 level, that's about 7% above the current share price. So with this type of strategy, you're paying less because implied volatility levels are lower, but then you've still got 3.5 weeks for this stock to continue to move to the upside if you're bullish on Boeing.
All right, so a little bit of time, but not too much time because you're avoiding the earnings event. Shares of Boeing right now higher in the pre-market in reaction to that upgrade over at Melius. Thanks a ton, Tom, for that example trade.